I was introduced to a whole foreign idea about how can somebody like me, who has a belief system that says there's no way I can function without taking something. How does a person like me get to a place where I can function?
Yeah.
And where I can be happy and where I can maybe have family and have a job and all these things. And I the first message I got was that it is possible.
Kick it off, bro. Dude, so we're on our way to picnic in the park. I thought on our way up, I would lob you this question.
Oh, okay.
If there was something you could change about our industry, what would it be, bro?
Oh, wow. Been in it long enough to see the pros and the cons.
Yes, sir.
Some of the cons are difficult to tackle just because they're systemic. So I don't really want to like speak to those like big lofty changes we'd like to see. If I was, it'd be like, you know, insurance, like just making less barriers to get into treatment. But if I could change one thing, it would be simply this, dude. Adding outcome studies, like making outcome studies mandatory for all treatment centers and finding like some universal way to measure success in treatment and making that a must. So every treatment center that exists has like a rating that's real and everyone's like held to the standard of truth, you know, like your outcomes is what sells the program. Your outcomes what speaks to like the efficacy of the program rather than just your opinion. That's what I would change, dude, straight up.
Dang. That shit's... Wow. Yeah, I did not expect that answer. That's a good one, dude.
I think it's the most like logical answer.
Do you think we're on our way towards that?
I think we are, dude. There's a company called Vista Research.
We love them.
Which we love. And they are data scientists. Like someone's calling me. They can fuck off for a second. Hopefully it's not my mom. I'll feel bad. But yeah, dude, they're legit. The owner is a legitimate data scientist who's studied data and been an actual scientist for, I don't know, 30 years, 40 years. That was like her career.
Yeah.
And then her daughter fell into addiction. Mm-hmm. And she was trying to help find treatment for her daughter and basically ran into a lot of the issues we've heard of or been around or seen where it's like, oh, you guys say you're the best? Like, oh, what proves that? Like, what makes that true? And they're like, oh, we think that way. It's like pizza places that are like best pizza on earth.
Right.
You're like, well, it says who?
Yeah.
You're like, well, oh, we do.
Yeah.
But pizza compared to a human's life is like way different.
For sure.
You can't just have an opinion on something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, best doctor in the world, like, why?
Yeah.
Why are you the best? But anyways, dude, so Vista Research, their data says that only 10% of treatment facilities actually have third-party data on their outcomes.
Wow.
So 90%, if they're correct, of treatment services don't have somebody else monitor their outcomes besides them.
Right.
So I just think it's a big point, dude. If there was 100%, then statistically we could find out like who is the best, who's doing the best treatment, not for like an ego standpoint, but for like a help standpoint, for a problem standpoint.
Yeah, and to kind of weed out the players that are just kind of money hungry.
Yeah.
You know, because it's relatively easy to check a lot of the boxes when it comes to state requirement for licensure.
Right.
But outcomes aren't one of them.
Right, which is crazy, man.
Yeah. Hey, man, we're almost there, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited to see our colleagues. I'm excited to see our friends. talk treatment, talk everything we love.
Yeah, man.
Produce some sick ass content along the way, man.
There we go. See you guys soon.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, so we're here at the park in Campbell, and we're sitting down with one of my good friends, Doug HAMES. Doug, thank you so much for taking the time with
Thanks,
us, man.
Jeremy. I appreciate you.
So, Doug, why don't you tell the audience who you are and where you work, man?
You bet. You bet. So my name is Doug HAMES. Been in San Jose for about 26 years, born and raised in Chicago. My life in Chicago was all about, addiction. It was all about, getting more, whether it be gambling, sex. I found drugs at some point early on in life. And that whole arena took me to San Diego, California, where I started my career as a drug addict slash convict slash all those things that come with that, right? So since then, I went to prison. I got out of prison and was introduced to recovery. And I was actually introduced to recovery, and here's a funny story. I was introduced to recovery in prison. They had a Narcotics Anonymous meeting come into the prison, and the guy that I was in the cell with said, "Hey, you want to come to this meeting? It's kind of cool. It's Narcotics Anonymous." And I said, "What do they do there?" I had no idea that people got clean or talked about being clean. And he said, "Well, they talk about recovery. We talk about how to, walk through life without using." And I said, "You know what, dude? I'm not interested in that." And
That doesn't sound good to me.
And he said, "They got cigarettes there." And I had no cigarettes, so I said, "I can go check it out, if they got cigarettes," right? So I went, and I was introduced to a whole foreign idea about how can somebody like me, who has a belief system that says there's no way I can function without taking something. How does a person like me get to a place where I can function?
Yeah.
And where I can be happy, and where I can maybe have family and have a job and all these things. And I the first message I got in that prison was that it is possible.
Wow.
Because the guy that chaired that meeting, his story was my story.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
right? And so since that time, I got paroled to San Jose. Met a bunch of people, was introduced to recovery, Narcotics Anonymous, some Alcoholics Anonymous, and my life revolves around recovery. And so my wife and I, were saying, why not work in recovery? Why not give back to the community? And that's kind of what I've done for the last 18, 19 years out here in San Jose, is give back and try to get other people, or give other people the opportunity that was given to me, right? It's a wonderful life.
Yeah.
And so what I do today, I've worked in the field for a couple different places, and today I work for a facility in Garden Grove, which is right next to Disneyland. So if you go there, you see people with Mickey Mouse ears and stuff.
Yeah.
It's the happiest place on earth, right? And imagine that, somebody that's afraid, that's coming into recovery, going to the happiest place on earth when they're about the most miserable they've ever been in their life, right? Yeah. It's ironic.
The irony, yeah.
It's ironic for sure. But it's an 88-bed facility. It's nestled right next to Disneyland. It has a lot of different, it sounds like a big place, so it can be scary, but it's separated in wings. And so each wing has its own little track. Like an example, we have a trauma track, and we have a dual diagnosis track. But the coolest track that we have, on top of the Links track, which is a faith-based track, we have what's called in vivo therapy. And that's really what I love the most about Northbound, is this in vivo therapy in life, how to face fears. And some of the fears are going to college, putting a resume together, music. If I'm a musician, or I want to have some therapy with music, how to do that clean. We have college-bound career bound, and music bound. These are the tracks of in vivo therapy.
Got it.
And it's really like it's a whole new idea in the treatment community that this is even possible.
Yeah.
For somebody to come in that needs to learn how to stay clean, to introduce that into that whole repertoire is scary, and a lot of people believe it can't happen.
Yeah.
But we found that to be the exact opposite.
I bet.
We found that clients that come in and that are exposed to that, doing a resume while they're in treatment, going to college while they're in treatment, signing up for classes, thinking about what they want to do with their life outside of staying clean.
Yeah.
That's what in vivo therapy is, and we've been very successful at Northbound with that.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Del, you got a question on that?
No, I mean, I guess I do have a question, but more importantly, I just think it's beautiful to give clients a purpose deeper than just staying sober. Like, that's kind of what I was hearing. In my experience, I've seen treatment centers feel that that's like a trigger or too much responsibility, or let's take it slow, we'll get there later. But I like the idea of giving them a deeper purpose rather than just getting sober. It sounds like that's what you guys are doing over there.
Absolutely, and it's and the results have been just amazing. The results have been amazing. Now, when I got clean, it was a very simple process. It was, we're going to teach you how not to take anything, right? We're going to have you in this bubble, this environment for, back then it was 3 months to 6 months. Now it's 30 days, 45 days.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, when I got out of the residential, how afraid I was.
Yep.
It was like shock. I was in shock.
Yep.
I don't know how I'm going to, and that was my head saying, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I don't know if that's possible for me.
Yeah.
Right.
And in vivo therapy allows them to process that stuff while they're in the treatment arena.
That's amazing.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and I mean, Del and I have experienced that so often with, like a lot of the media we do, a lot of the alumni from the program we worked at kind of seek us out through our podcasts and videos and stuff. And that's honestly the most common thing that comes up is like, dude, I'm not using, but I'm not winning.
Right.
Exactly.
And like, how do I like, there's more to life than just like white knuckling my recovery. And it's hard to like keep all these things in motion without feeling overwhelmed.
That's right.
And
That's
so
right.
I think that's huge. And I think you're right that in the shorter treatment stays that we have now, like 30, 45 days, that's like no time.
No.
We got to do more.
So we have to do more in that time to prepare them for what's next. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm all about, like, I don't believe in just a residential stay.
Right.
I don't believe in just a detox stay. I believe in the whole curriculum. I believe in a full continuum of care.
Yeah.
I believe in aftercare. And I think aftercare, honestly, is the most important part of the treatment process.
Totally.
I think that's where the rubber meets the road.
Yep.
And with this in vivo therapy that Northbound has introduced, it makes that path a lot less strenuous, a lot less tedious.
Yeah.
It makes it certainly makes it make more sense to
For sure.
somebody that is new, that's coming into the community, that's never done this when they're clean without smoking a joint or doing a line or shooting up.
Yeah.
It's a really cool experience, and you see the light bulb go on. You guys know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The light bulb goes on, and that's why we do what we do.
That's
you
right.
know?
Of course, being that it's Recovery Month, what we were hoping you would maybe offer the audience is like if you had one takeaway from your recovery or like one piece of advice for people who are in recovery or considering recovery, what would it be, man?
I love it. So I'm very involved in recovery here in the greater San Jose area. I'm fortunate that we have probably world known. This area of San Jose is world known for the cohesiveness of recovery. I mean, there's a lot of meetings here. There's a lot of opportunity here. My advice for anybody that is new, or even those that have been around for a while that are struggling, reach out. There's and I'll end with this. And I love, this is a Steve Brugge story, and I love it. So Steve Brugge, for those of you that don't know, is a mainstay of the greater San Jose area. He was one of them guys that when he talked, people listened because he talked from his heart.
Yep.
It wasn't from his head.
Yep.
And the guy's amazing. So he tells a story about this kid that just celebrated a year clean.
Yeah.
And he wanted to do something special for his mom, and his mom wanted to do something special for him. So the mom called and said, "Hey, congratulations on your 1 year." And he said, in his head, he says, "I'm going to send my mom something nice. I've always taken from my mom. I'm going to send her something nice." So the mom likes birds. So he bought his mom two talking African gray parrots. right? Shipped him to Florida. She lives in Florida. A couple days later, he calls his mom back and he says, "Hey, Mom, did you get the gift I sent you?" She says, "Oh, I sure did. They were delicious," she said. He said, "Mom, those were 2 very expensive talking African gray parrots." He said, she said, "If they knew they were in trouble, they should have said something." Right? The moral of that story is like, if I have any suggestions, like, is when you're pushing into the recovery arena, when you're going to meetings and something's on your mind, stand up and let it be known. Let people know, because a problem that's shared is a problem that's lessened.
Love it.
My opinion. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Doug, thank you so
Thank
much,
you guys.
man. You're an
appreciate
awesome
you.
dude.
Thank you so
And
much,
we appreciate
Doug.
your
Yeah.
work, man.
You bet.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, guys.